Hey everyone, coming up on Sports Central, we have a hot show during the dog days of summer. Stick around everybody for this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson, my co-host, Mr. Neal Duncan.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
It's good. It's been a good summer, busy. You know, it used to be where it seemed like things slowed down just a little bit, but that's no longer the case here with events going on in Polk County.
Nope.
Before we get too far down the road, we want to let everyone know that Cleveland Heights is the sponsor of this segment, an important partner of what we do at Tourism and Sports Marketing.
I need to get out there. I haven't played there in a while. It's a fun course.
Good course. They've been redoing some of the greens and tee boxes and things out there. So Brock and his whole crew, they do a great job.
Brock Whitmer, you bet. Well, we do have a special guest with us. We actually have three coming up. And one of those, Roy Fuoco from the Ledger, is going to bring you the latest and greatest about high school football here in Polk County. And then Carol Cali from Sun and Fun. Lots of stuff happening out there besides airplanes, but we're going to hear all about that as well. But for right now, Mr. Lee White, head golf coach at Florida Southern College. And wow, what a year you had. Placed third at Nationals, and it's pretty amazing. Of course, you've got some big shoes to fill, though. We were talking about that off air. I mean, you know.
Yeah, big shoes to fill. I can't tell you how excited I am to finally take the reins as head coach, this being my first year. I was fortunate enough to play at Florida Southern for Coach Gordon, who was there for 23 years and won 6 national championships. So I was able to play under him and then also coach as his assistant for the past 4 seasons. And tremendous opportunity for me to learn from one of the best coaches and be around a successful team. And you know, we won in 2017, and this past year we had the individual champion, then finished third as a team. So it's been a great run the past few years, and I look forward to continuing that success.
It's kind of strange for me to be sitting here with Lee as the head coach of the men's golf team at Florida Southern. Of course, I remember Lee when he was in high school and playing. He's a Bartow guy, I'm a Bartow guy, but congratulations. It's so neat to see what you've been able to accomplish. Of course, as an assistant, being a part of a national championship team, and not only Coach Gordon, 23 years, 6 national titles, but Charlie Matlock was there for 23 years before that with 7 national titles. No pressure, right?
Yeah, no pressure. Now, I've heard that a lot recently, and great tradition of Florida Southern dating back to the Rocco Mediate, Lee Jansen days. And Coach Gordon continued that on, and they've entrusted me to do the same. And I look forward to the challenge. It's something that I told people I want that responsibility as a young coach. That's really kind of lit a fire under me to make sure, you know, I'm staying on top of my recruiting and really getting the best out of our players. So I look forward to it.
Well, speaking of recruiting, I think you have 5 or 6 new players this year, which is it's going to be a challenge for you.
It is. It's a lot. It's a big class. I brought in 6 new players, and they're actually all from the state of Florida. So we like to recruit out of the Northeast and locally. This year, that's just the way it worked out. I'm very excited to have all 6 joining us. They're gonna hopefully contribute throughout the season. And you know, we were down to 4 guys on the roster after last season. We lost, of course, John Vanderlyn, standout national champion, went on to play on the PGA Tour already in a tour event. Then John Coltis, Florida Southern's first team All-American all 4 years. So 2 phenomenal players that we have to replace, and that's going to be hard to do right away with freshmen. But collectively as a group, we look forward to the challenge of you know, really by season's end, which is April and May of the spring. That's our championship season, and we're going to be ready for that.
I know you're going to play 4 events in the fall, and of course the timing of you being named as the head coach, and then the events you're going to play in the fall. But what are some of the things that you're going to build on as school gets started here at Florida Southern, and also pulling off, and not only the success of the golf team, but was it 31 national championships at Florida Southern through all sports? What are you going to pull from there?
So one of the things that we talk to all of our recruits about is the success of Florida Southern across the board, you know, academically and then athletically. 30 national championships as a program, an athletic program, and you feel that success every day on campus, just walking around, and it really it's contagious. and the golfers have been a big part of that. So going into this fall, we have four events, and we're a couple of new ones. We got into Duke's event, which is a full D1 field. There'll be 12 other schools there, and that's our event to start off the season, September 8th and 9th. We're really excited about going up there, playing your Seminoles. They'll be there. So I think the Mocs will be right in the mix with them, and we're also taking a trip out to Monterey, California in October. So that'll be a real treat for the kids to go out and
out there.
We're playing the Bayonet, which is part of a resort. There's the Dark Horse and the Bayonet, which is about 5 minutes from Pebble Beach. So we're gonna take a ride down there and check it out. I haven't been to the West Coast, so can't wait to get out there.
I think that's probably something Sports Central should cover, don't you, Mr. Jackson?
When I released my schedule, I've had quite a few people volunteer to be my assistant coach for that week. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that'll be a great week out there. That's a gorgeous part of the country. Just the cost of living is horrible, and the traffic is horrible, but still, California's a fun place to hang out. You'll enjoy it.
Can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you did a little caddying this summer, I believe. Tell us about that. I mean, that was kind of an interesting experience for you.
It is. It's different. I really wasn't, certainly wasn't on my schedule or docket headed into the summer, but a good friend of mine, Brian Ritchie, who played at Florida Southern, grew up in Lakeland High School. He plays full-time on the Web.com tour, which would be, AAA baseball. And he called me and asked, he knew I was recruiting a little bit this summer, but I had the week off and he was headed to Chicago. So I flew up and caddied for him in his Web event, and it was a good opportunity for me to be around some of the guys that have been on and off the PGA Tour, chasing their dreams of being there full time, and you really see what separates them from, our college players and junior golf, and how regimented their schedules are. So it was great to be there with Brian. He's doing really well. He's having another good season, and then also after that, I had the opportunity to caddy, as I said, for John Vanderlyn, who received an exemption into the PGA Tour event in Kentucky, the Barbasol Championship, through winning the Jack Nicklaus Award. He then won a shootout amongst all the Jack Nicklaus Award winners, Division 1, 2, 3, in junior college. So he played there in Kentucky, played really well, shot 14 under par for 4 rounds. Just making a cut in your first PGA Tour event, it's a very overwhelming atmosphere, and I was extremely impressed with how he handled himself, and I think it speaks volumes for the golf program at Florida Southern, that if you come play for us, you're going to have the opportunity to get used to winning and being in those pressure situations, and that prepared him for his PGA Tour debut.
Amazing. A lot of talent coming out of Florida Southern, particularly on the golf side of things. I mean, it's just amazing. You got a guy that's playing on your team. Next thing you know, playing on the PGA Tour. It's not normal.
No, that's good. Well, I was getting ready to ask, do you wish you had him obviously another year or two, or do you think it's good for you being a first-year coach, adding 6 or 7 new players, so, because you have to switch from being the assistant coach to the head coach. Do you think that's going to make the transition easier?
I wouldn't say easier. It's nice to have John. I mean, we could count on him shooting 68 or 69 every round, which is unbelievable. I mean, that's why he's one of the best players in the country over any division. But, this year I look forward to having our 4 returning players who all have championship experience in postseason. They're going to have to step up and play a little bigger role. And then, we play 5 guys in each tournament. So I'm going to have 1 or 2 of the new players come in and out throughout the year, and pick up the little bit of slack. And as a team, collectively, we can make up the little bit of a difference from what we'll miss in John, Coltis, and Vanderlyn. So it is a challenge, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's for the golf team, you get male and female, and who's the female coach at Southern right now?
Robbie Davis.
Robbie is. That's it. I knew that. And of course, known Robbie for a long, long time. But man, you look at the talent pool that you guys are recruiting, and then you look at the coaches. I think you guys have a pretty bright future ahead of you. Based on what I've seen.
It really is. It's a great place to be. Lakeland is, and really the surrounding Polk County community. It's easy to recruit here. Kids, especially from the northern states, they look at a place that they can come play their sport year-round, whatever it may be, especially maybe a soccer, golf, things that are outside where they could be restricted back home. So for golf, they come down, they can hit off a turf all year, and they love that. It's for men or women. It's really a great place to be.
Yeah, real quick, I know we're getting ready to go to break, but talk about, because you, again, were brought up in the Bartow area, the Polk County area. Talk about how strong the junior golf has been here in Polk County and how that bleeds into the, the amateur tournaments that are going on, like the Bartow Youth Villa and the Florida Ball and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started playing golf, taking lessons when I was 14 years old. I was going to Union Academy and took lessons from Chris Banks at Bartow Golf Course. And, from there, I got to know more and more of the kids around this area, and the First Tee program is so strong in Lakeland. They do a great job there and really just promoting the game all around this area. And you see, I can't tell you how many kids that I was in school with, but now as a coach, I try to follow the best I can the high school junior golf, and it's really strong in this area, really strong and well respected all around the state.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, like I said, or like Lee said, you're up north, you're going, gee whiz, I can go to the University of Indiana or Indiana State, whatever, and, or Ohio State, whatever it may be, University of Wisconsin, but you're not hitting balls outside until at least April.
You've got to be hardcore dedicated.
Yeah, March maybe.
I played in the snow, but it's not consistent.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of a choice is that? I mean, if you're into golf and you really want to improve your game, heck, you can play here 364 days a year. We had Irma last year, so we couldn't play one day.
Yeah, that's right.
So
we certainly look forward to a great season.
Oh, fantastic. And congratulations on getting selected. I think that's
awesome.
awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's an awesome accomplishment, but like we said earlier, you got some big shoes to fill. I'm confident you can do that.
Thank you.
You bet, Lee. Great to have you on board. Well, everybody, one of the things that we're so proud of here in Central Florida's Polk County, of course, are our lakes, 554 of them to be exact. Maybe give or take, depending on the rainy season.
How much it rains.
Yeah, whatever. But we're also known as the water ski capital of the world, and home to the original Cypress Gardens, more world records set here than anywhere else in the world. The U.S. Olympic Committee's governing body of the sport is based here, the foundation is based here, and big doings, we'll talk about it in the fourth segment, out at Lake Myrtle with the new relocation. But some of the girls that continue to ski professionally at Legoland or with the Cypress Gardens amateur ski team, they have really stepped up their game. Very talented group of young ladies. Check this out. PGTV special edition of the Aquamaids of Cypress Gardens.
Shelley here with the Florida Aquamaids. Whether you're a local or are in Winter Haven to visit Legoland, make sure to schedule some time and spend a day exploring Central Florida's famous chain of lakes. We booked a paddleboard tour online with Paddleboard Winter Haven. Because they are a mobile business, Paddleboard Winter Haven can bring you boards to one of 4 different lakes: Summit, Ship, May, or Roy. Now we chose Lake Summit, which is most popular because of its proximity to Legoland. And for the behind-the-scenes pirate tour, make sure to bring water, a hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and water-friendly clothing. Besides providing a properly sized paddle and board, you'll receive both land and water instruction. You'll also learn how to get back up on the board if you fall off. Besides getting some great exercise and seeing Legoland from the water, you'll encounter amazing wildlife and witness the Chain of Lakes' incredible ecosystem. Paddleboard Winter Haven also offers sunset, fitness, and eco tours. You might even have some time for some balance tests and some fun challenges. I've had a great day with the Florida Aquamaids, learning to paddleboard and experiencing Florida's natural beauty. Make sure to bring some snacks and enjoy a picnic lakeside afterwards. If you'd like to tour and explore the Chain of Lakes by paddleboard, contact Paddleboard Winter Haven. What are you waiting for?
Well, the Aquamaids doing a little paddleboarding on the Chain of Lakes there in Winter Haven. What a good, just a great opportunity to get out and enjoy the summer heat, the water and all that type of stuff. Skied with many of those girls.
You know, you have to remember, I know you know this, but for our viewers at home, people around the country and around the world save up money all year long to come here. So we need to appreciate what we have, because all too often you just take it for granted, but what a great place to live here in Polk County.
Absolutely is, especially when it's 90-some degrees out and you've got, you know, all these lakes to choose from, go out ski, paddleboard, whatever.
Yep.
Well, the Aquamaids, very talented group of young ladies, and we've got some really cool features with them coming up. So
yeah, we're excited about the relationship.
Oh, I think
Speaking
so
of
too.
relationships, Echo Suites, a great partner of Tourism Sports Marketing, and they are the segment sponsor for the second segment of Sports Central.
Absolutely. You know who we're featuring? You've seen them in movies. You've seen them on radio. heard them on radio. On the sports fields of Polk County.
Yep.
And that's the famous writer,
Yep.
reporter for the Ledger, Roy Fuoco. He's been around for a long, long time. Also on the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame selection committee. Roy, welcome to the show.
Good to be back.
Well, it's good to have you, for sure. You're always a wellspring of information about what's going on. And, you know, as promised the viewers earlier in the show, I'm just trying to get used to this chair. Neal Duncan gives me these different chairs, and it's just, we had these hard stools for the longest time. I mean, I walk out of here like
Well,
bow-legged. They
listen,
were horrible.
you said I keep giving you different chairs. We had those chairs for like 6 years, so.
Well, they're going to
it's a new
last
chair.
600 years, the way those things were built. Now we've got these things, and I'm leaning
Well, we took
back
the
and
wheels off
forth.
of them so you wouldn't be doing donuts in here.
Well, I like the wheels. So I can.
Roy, do you like the chairs?
Oh, more comfortable than the stools. I just
See?
noticed that.
So it's a win, right?
Man,
Speaking of winning,
getting chairs in here is like pulling hens.
speaking of winning, because I can't win with this guy. Fall sports. I know I'm excited this time of year. Football's back. I know you are. Your beloved Packers. But
Boy, they blew out the Steelers,
did they win last night?
51-34,
That's preseason though.
or 17. I don't know what it was, something like that.
Preseason though.
Well, I know that, but still, I'll
Polk
take it.
County football,
It's all preseason right
high
now.
school football. It doesn't really get any better than Polk County football, and it's getting ready to kick off actually tonight.
Yeah, the kickoff classics are tonight, and a bunch of, I counted it yesterday, but there are a bunch of games in Polk County. The two really good ones are Lake Gibson and Winter Haven, and Kathleen at Lake Wales. You know, those are games that are really good for the regular season. You know, they're going to play it straight. Sometime in the classics they'll won't do live kicking, or they'll play the JV the quarter or something, but they'll play these games like it's a normal game and playing to win, which is, like Lake Wales last year, they were 7-3, but they lost their 3 big games and fell just short of the playoffs. So I know they want to make that next move this year, so they want to develop that mentality early. Well,
you've got, Lake Wales, of course. Kathleen is always there. Lakeland is always there. It's just when you look at the talent that's coming out of here, and of course in a couple of weeks we're opening up a special exhibit at the Polk County Sports Hall of Fame at Lake Myrtle in Auburndale, honoring Ray Lewis. Ray will be there. I think Warren Sapp is going to be there. A number of celebrities will be around. Ken Riley, of course, the guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. But the talent that's come out of these schools is amazing. Who do you see out there right now that has the potential to possibly go to the NFL?
Well, that's always kind of tough because the guys you think might do it. Now, the Pounceys, way back, you kind of knew they were going to be it, but sometimes the players you think might have a really good chance, something happens, they don't go through. I mean, our top player in our Super 16 this year, Brendan Gant, a defensive back from Kathleen, now he's that athlete. Now we'll see how he develops at the next level. And Lakeland has they had 6 players on our Super 16. Should have been 7, but we never knew where Lloyd Summerall was going to end up because he was trying to transfer or move from Auburndale to Lakeland, and family finally moved, and so he was eligible this week. Too late to make our Super 16 because I was here, and he might not play in the county. So they, they have him, Khalil Crawford, Jahari Martin, Latrell Jean, all defensive guys, all being highly recruited. Well, who knows if how far they get, but that puts a lot of pressure on Lakeland's defense to really do something. And then they got the offensive tackle with that IMG last year, De'Avi Hammond, who at one time he committed to Alabama, but he opened it up again. He wanted to keep his options open. And he's big, 320, athletic. Actually, bigger than that, 340, I think, 6'3", but athletic. These big guys now, when they're that weight, they're athletic. Before, 280, 290 meant fat and slow. Not these guys anymore.
Training though has changed so much.
Sure.
Training, diet. It's a different game, no pun intended.
I'm glad they weren't that athletic when I played, because I may not be here today because I wasn't fast enough to get away. But you were talking about Lakeland. Of course, Coach Castle has been roaming the sidelines for the Lakeland for a long time. Talk about that, and this is as loaded as he's been in a while.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty, at least from the terms of, players that are being recruited, the 6'7" guy that mentioned, I don't think I mentioned Trey Huntley, another defensive lineman. They got DeMarcus Bowman, a running back, who's one of the top running backs in the country in the junior class. So, there's going to be high expectations on Lakeland, and, Coach Castle, he's as active as ever. You go out to his practice, and he's, coaching like he always does. You wouldn't tell, that this is his 42nd, 43rd year.
You're saying he's not Bobby Bowden at the end of his career over in a golf cart.
He's out there, if something doesn't do something right, he's on them, and so he's got a team that can maybe make a run. Now who knows who does anything with the way St. Thomas down in Fort Lauderdale, where they get the players, but they got now obviously Lakeland's got players from other schools. They got the quarterback from George Jenkins, Dewanski McWilliams, who they had a little scare with him right as practice was beginning. He was in a car accident, but everybody turned out to be okay. But he's the type of quarterback Bill Castle likes in the offense. He can throw. He can run the option, so he can run his triple option, where they can go spread and really run the full playbook that he has. So if he learns it, it's tough to learn the offense. So once he learns it, we'll see how it works.
The Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, they're there every year.
Well, they got a pretty good golf team too.
I was just getting ready to say, I know the girls' golf team they have a chance at a state title, don't they?
Yeah, well, they shot 150 in a preseason tournament this week for 9 holes, which is, over, if they did that 150.
That's what he shoots for 18. You knew that was coming.
I'm just glad you gave me 18 and not 9.
Yeah, that's 300, and that's right there for state contenders. I mean, it's probably the best girls golf team since some of the George Jenkins teams in the mid 2005-06 when they had Dolores White and Heather Bergner, who went to Florida Southern. That team, they had a team one year that shot 320, didn't make it to state because only the top 2 teams from regionals go, and it was just a incredibly tough region. Usually 320, you sleepwalk in with that score because teams are going with 360s and stuff. So you look at this Lakeland team, 3 of them are underclassmen, Arlen Spence, Kate Joyner, and Annalise, I think I'm pronouncing it, Rath. And then they got Ashton Sells, who's a senior. So they have a chance to make this, a little bit, of a, 2 or 3 year run here, after this year. So, but yeah, that's.
I wonder if that's Wayne Rath's daughter. No, I don't think he's that old, is he?
I'm not sure. I don't try to guess people's ages.
I thought we were just talking about Bill Castle's age.
Oh, well, never mind.
You knew that.
Yeah, cross country, obviously, with Holloway Park and some of the things, and on the event side of things and recruiting events here, but also has gotten very strong, not only running in general in the county, but cross country. I know Jenkins has a pretty good, solid team. Yeah,
I mean the boys I think will be should be okay. The girls. That's going to be the girls' race for the team competition. Probably going to be wide open this year because Anna Sentner, she's a junior for Jenkins, she's closing in on the county record, and that's the goal for her. Their number 3, 4, and 5 runners last year were seniors, so they graduated. Their number 2 runner, who was a freshman, Alicia Ruiz. I was talking to Dale Meskimen yesterday, the coach, and he said that she decided to focus on track this year.
Oh, okay.
So he's replacing his next 4 runners.
Right.
Now he has he's not as deep. He said he got runners that could pretty solid 7 runners, but we'll see how they do. So that opens it up. McKeel should be strong, and Lakeland Christian. They lost their number 1 runner, but they had a couple of younger runners back. So that'd be interesting because Jenkins has been running, no pun intended, been running away with the county the last few years. So on the girls' side and the boys' side, Lake Wales lost Paul Stafford. He graduated at Florida State, and he's probably one of the better runners to ever come out of Polk County. But they got Andy Denton, who's back. I think he's a junior. I was talking to the coach in the spring. He thinks their team should be stronger this year.
Oh, wow.
Than because some of those young runners that he's been developing over the last 2 years, they all getting better. And so the boys team competition between Jenkins and Lake Will, that should be interesting to watch this year.
Well, Mark, our very own Mark Zimmerman's kid.
Brady, he's
Brady
back.
Zimmerman, he's back. And
so he'll be
I think
leading
he's a senior this year, right?
Yeah, and that I confused myself. I hate to admit it. We had a little bit mistake in the all-county section. We listed him I listed him as a senior accidentally. And I'd go, no, he's a junior. I was pretty sure, and I verified.
He'll be a redshirt senior this year, right?
So he's back. So that should be a pretty good. Last couple of years, Stafford and Antonio Gomez, from Frostproof, the last 4 years, they've dominated the top of the in the county competition. So this year, unless someone shows up or one of the underclassmen gets really better, I'm thinking it might be Brady and Andy Denton from competing for the top spot, but I haven't quite gotten into it enough. I'll be talking to a couple more coaches over the weekend to make sure people are back. You never know, team like Ruiz, she didn't play, or someone like that. So to see who actually is back and running and who may have come in.
Just you always learn. I mean, Roy comes in, I walk out of the room, way smarter. you know, more, maybe not smarter, not more knowledgeable.
Well, we talk about it all the time. This is why the Polk County All Sports Awards is the relationship with the Ledger Media Group and the Ledger is so important because they bring so much to the table. You know, during those meetings, staff is writing so fast because they have it all up here, you know, all these athletes, and each unit makes the event so much easier to do. So, Roy, thank you so much for all you do in covering.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always
Polk
great to
preps.
read your articles. Yeah, great insight. Appreciate you coming.
And our football section comes out Sunday
Oh,
for the
there we
preview
go.
section.
So make sure, everybody, that you get your Sunday edition or the Sunday edition of the Ledger. Always some great stuff, and with football coming up, man.
Say it again. That makes me happy. Football coming up.
Football coming up. Yeah, a lot of action going on. Anyway, we have, well, some pretty interesting stuff going on here in Central Florida, and we saw some great paddleboarding from the Aquamaids just a little bit earlier. Well, there's also swimming going on, and Get Rowdy and Race is a big-time race in Winter Haven at the Rowdy Gaines Pool. Check this out, everybody. We've got some great action from that. Mark and Neal will be back with our next special guest right after this.
The Rowdy Cup is traditionally the first long course meet of the year in the state of Florida. And long course meaning that the swimmers swim 50 meters rather than short course, which is 25 yards. So being the first long course meet of the year, we have over 631 swimmers from all around the state of Florida that are coming to swim here this weekend. Just this weekend alone, we'll have over close to 400 heats, which are races that'll be conducted tonight, Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. So it's a good opportunity. We have all the age groups from 8 and under. We'll have 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids, as well as 18, 19-year-old. Even we have some kids that have qualified for the Olympic trials that'll be swimming tomorrow as well.
The Rowdy Gaines pool is a full-size Olympic pool. It's 50 meters long and 25 yards wide. The max depth is 6 foot 8 inches, and it holds over 400,000 gallons of water.
This is our first long course meet of the summer, and it's a great way for our team to kick off. It's a local meet, and we always try to support the local meets in the area. We had a great fall and spring. We had kids qualify for high school states and Florida age group championships, and we're really excited about where the team's going and the progression over the team, because we've only been around for 4 years now.
Being a deck ref, I'm responsible for the swimmers that are in the pool, making sure that the right swimmer is in the right lane during the right heat, and as well as they adhere to the rules of USA Swimming to maintain the integrity of the race, and also, first and foremost, to ensure the safety of the swimmers in the pool. The Rowdy Cup is very significant, especially to us here in Winter Haven, because it's named after Rowdy Gaines, 3-time Olympic gold medal winner who's from here. The pool is named after him. And after his Olympic swimming career, he moved into broadcasting, and now he's considered the voice of USA Swimming. And we're very proud of Rowdy. He gives back to his community. These kids are thrilled to be able to swim in the Rowdy Gaines pool, and also thrilled to see him on TV being associated with world-class swimming. So it's a real thrill for all of us.
A lot of wet action today on Sports Central.
Water
wow.
sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, great water
Paddling
sports.
and swimming, Rowdy Gaines Pool.
You know, the paddle boarding, I saw them doing like yoga and headstands. Have you ever done a headstand on a paddleboard before?
No.
All right.
Only when I
let's-
was going in the water, maybe, but that didn't last very long.
This third segment brought to us by Office Furniture Depot, a good partner of tourism and sports, and we appreciate them for what they do for us.
Yeah, speaking of good partners, how about Sun and Fun? We've been
Sure.
working together for
Oh,
a
yeah.
long, long time, and great economic impact, great event, putting Lakeland, amongst many other things, on the map for years. And one of our staff members just got back from Oshkosh, the largest air show in the country. I think they had 641,000 people in attendance there, and that would be Joni Allen and her husband Carol.
Yeah.
But they said it was awesome, and of course this last year was Sun and Fun. It was just amazing too. A lot of people out there, and a lot of fun stuff to watch. Always enjoy that.
It's a great
Plus, we did
event.
one of our shows from out there.
Yeah, we were live from there. It's a great event.
Yeah, we had Sarah Zhang with us too.
Yeah,
Miss Florida. Yep, that was fun. Yep, good time. Well, speaking of fun, you know who we have on board now?
I do.
Next, coming up next.
Director of Marketing for Sun and Fun. Joining us now is Miss Carol Cali. And Carol, thanks so much for coming on Sports Central.
Thank you, my pleasure.
You bet. So, Director of Marketing, you started out as a volunteer for many, many years, which arguably is the backbone of Sun and Fun. Without the volunteers, you certainly couldn't pull off all the things you guys do. But you've moved from there. Now you're in a paid position as their Director of Marketing. That's got to be a pretty heavy load to fill or to lift.
Yes, it is, but it's certainly very enjoyable, and I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't believe in what the whole concept of why we have the Sun and Fun Fly-In is all about, for supporting and doing the fundraising for our Aerospace Center for Excellence. So that's what got me hooked, is that, yes, it's a fantastic annual event, great experience to volunteer at, and participate, but really for what the funds are used for is what got me to even take on this role as Director of Marketing.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Aerospace Center for Excellence.
The Aerospace Center for Excellence is the overarching entity of which the Sun and Fun Fly-In is one of the primary fundraising events for.
Okay.
The Aerospace Center for Excellence resides on the Sun and Fun Expo campus. So the Sun and Fun Expo campus is about 200 acres on the Lakeland Linder International Airport.
Yeah.
And it's about 25 acres. On there is the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, which is a part of Polk County Schools. We have our Aerospace Discovery Museum, the Florida Aviation Museum, which we just had our ribbon cutting today with the NOAA organization.
National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Hurricane Hunters, yes they
The
are,
Hurricane
and they
Hunters.
were there in force,
Good.
as well as our Lakeland Aero Club. So we also do a lot of youth programs both on the campus and outreach. So the Aerospace Center for Excellence, we raise funds for that has all kinds of youth programs and scholarships in the aerospace profession. So yes, we have professional pilots, A&P mechanics, avionics, you name it when it comes to aerospace. We also have a large contingent of aerospace engineers. So think about the state of Florida, but also the state of the world and where the demand comes from for those types of young individuals to come up and have a fantastic career in that area. That's what this organization is about.
My youngest son graduated from CFAA.
Oh, really? Fantastic.
Yep, he's a pilot as well.
And you talk about volunteerism during Sun and Fun. I know they're heavily involved with the event itself
Oh,
and,
yes.
and what they give back, if you will, because they benefit from it, but they also give back in a special
Oh
way.
yeah, they have to
during
do
the
their
event.
service hours out there, but it's a great experience for them but also more importantly, it's a good exposure for the 3,500 plus volunteers that are out there for that week to understand and work along with the students that this is why they do it. So it's twofold. Yes, it's a great experience for the students, but it's also for the volunteers and also the public to see the students out there working too.
You got some special events coming up. Tell us about them.
Oh, gee, we have all kinds of things going on. It's twofold. One is we have our own internal events that we put on and host. So in October 6th, we have Classroom to the Sky, which is basically bringing in teachers from all different counties around for them to get curriculum credit in STEM education. So we kind of bring them out for the day, get them up in planes, teach them how they can do some ground school, get them exposed to what aviation and aerospace is about so they can take those skills then back to the classroom. So that's Classroom to the Sky, and that's October 6th. We also have a second big event coming up in October, which is October 20th, which is our Aerospace Discovery Day, which is basically for young folks to have their first flights. It's a family fun day, you know, of course, with bounce houses and those type of things. But also we have a lot of organizations, a lot of Boy Scout troops, Girl Scout troops and all that come out and camp, get exposed, we get them up in planes and just kind of get them energized about what aviation is all about. So that's October 20th. In addition to that, we do lease out our property to third-party entities to also participate in that fundraising effort long-term with our organization. But they also have their own purposes and missions as well. So that can be anything from Jeep versus Harley, which is in October. So you can imagine, you know, coming on out if you own a Jeep or a Harley, they have a big fundraising event. To Central Florida Throwdown is in October, Doxapalooza, hundreds of dachshunds, all the way to Pig Fest in January, which is a huge Lakeland event, which is on the map.
Yeah, I used to be at Tiger Town, and it really was concentrated. They needed a bigger space, but the Central Florida Throwdown, for those of you that not quite sure what that means, it's really a cool CrossFit event out there that they host in the hangars, and very, very successful, and really glad to see that continue. But you also have the Carlisle auto shows that have been massive. So that's a big one
coming up. Yep, that's coming up in the February timeframe. So they'll be coming back out for that. Another big one coming up in the area is the Family Motor Coach Association, the FMCA.
Oh yeah.
They have their big rally coming out, making use of the Sun and Fun Expo campus. They anticipate, I think their number is around 800 different Class A motor coaches coming out for that rally. So it's fantastic exposure for the Lakeland area that we bring forth, you know, making use of our Sun and Fun Expo campus.
The problem is with the motor coaches, they'll stay in their motor coaches and they don't stay in the hotels.
Well, we'll just take them there and drop them off.
Yeah.
True. But they got to go out and eat.
They stimulate.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
They gotta go out and eat.
They stimulate the local economy.
Yes,
There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think the neat thing about not only about these special events that maybe aren't related to aviation, but one that gets people out there. But the other events, you know, there's such a shortage of pilots, not only in the U.S. but internationally.
Yes.
So getting young folks or getting families through their young folks excited about aviation is really important, not just for now or the success of Sun and Fun, but for the future of the industry.
Absolutely, and that's what the Aerospace Center for Excellence is all about. You articulated it perfectly. The demand for pilots and mechanics and anything associated with aerospace, whether it be airport management or whatever, is in such dire need, both here locally, in the state, across the country, around the world. These students that are going through CFAA are, you know, much like athletes, since this is the Sports Central show, much like athletes sign and commit to colleges and when they move on, they're getting recruited as juniors and seniors, both for colleges and for full-time paid careers. So they're rock stars in their own right.
He's laughing over here because he heard you say it. I articulated perfectly, and he's never once said that to me, so he was surprised. But it's true because, you know, what the Lakeland Airport is doing, and
Gene Conrad is rocking things out there. He's been a real asset for you know, and then, you know, of course, it's always a pleasure working with Greg Gibson and John Lights. So you know, that's a good team. So what type of things are you looking to do over and above what's going on right now? Where do you see?
One of the big things we're working on is we have a new capital expansion program that we've announced. Our CFAA Academy, the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, is kind of, I don't want to say to maximum capacity, but it will be soon. So in anticipation of that, we are doing a capital expansion program on the front of our museum, and which will then add additional classroom space for CFAA, But more importantly, it will bring some additional space both for the Polk County area that the community can be, again, this is Polk County's backyard that they can take advantage of, where they can have another venue of bringing the students together and a one-stop shop for their particular assemblies. Right now, those students, they've even outgrown their cafeteria. They can't even bring the whole student body together if they needed to. So it'll be built on the front of the museum. So that's what that capital expansion program is about. And of course, we have other things that we need to do just to kind of go on and maintain what's going on the Sun and Fun Expo campus itself. But all eyes are in all the planning, as you mentioned, John and Greg, and myself and others within our organization. We already started planning our 45th annual Sun and Fun Fly-In, which will be April 2nd through the 7th. We already have
just going to ask you that because
okay,
it's always one of those dates that you have to plan around.
Yes, you do.
At least for tourism and sports marketing staff, simply because we've got a visitor center there that really serves as it's a hub.
Sure.
There are thousands of people that come in there every single year and get information on where to eat and what to do and so on.
It's critical for us to be able to leverage your services.
Where does that, the 2nd through the 7th, where does that land in comparison to Easter?
Before. We're clear of Easter. It's before.
That's usually the, depending on when Easter comes, that's
Right.
snowbirds start flying back.
So we think this year will be a fantastic year. Again, every year we have a different theme. This year's theme is we are first and fun, fast in flight. So as you said, yes, the #1 size, 600,000 plus attendance for Oshkosh, Wisconsin, if you're an aviation buff. We are the proud #2. So, and we're proud to be there with over 200,000 people, 500 exhibitors, and of course, the full airport tarmacs of planes, everything from warbirds to modern to vintage to home built. We've got it all there for the whole family, and we are proud to say that we're going to have the Blue Angels this year.
Good.
So it's going to be a fantastic year.
Love the Blue Angels, the Thunderbirds Blue Angels. Blue Angels are my favorite of the two.
I'm Thunderbirds.
So am I.
But they're there quite often as well.
Oh, absolutely they are. Yes, they are.
But they're both fantastic and a great
They all put on
representation
fantastic,
of the
great
power
shows.
of our military. So,
Yeah,
good stuff.
I enjoy it.
In addition, even if they're not there, it's such a great air show and the way you can get up close and personal. But when they're there, it just really adds something to it. It's
And
pretty,
that is
pretty
one of
neat
the
stuff.
that's one of the main reasons why I think a lot of folks enjoy coming to our fly-in. Whether you're an aviation buff or not, to be able to walk up to and talk to the pilots, the mechanics, the owners of these planes that bring them in really says a lot. There's not a lot of fly-ins that you can do that. To be able to talk to somebody that's decided to invest in a P-51 just blows me away. That you can chat.
Was I talking to somebody last weekend? I was doing a show up in Wisconsin, and gosh, who was it? It was, with Inmar, Marine Engines. Apparently they're involved, or have some affiliation with Roush Racing, and they make these engines for the P-51s.
Oh, really?
Yep. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, not only Sun and Fun, but all the events coming up, and we thank you so much for
Thank you.
everything you're doing, in not only in the
Absolutely.
community, but for
Oh,
aviation.
yeah, I've got a good team out there, and certainly say hi to Greg and Lights for us,
Will do.
because we love working with those guys, and I know the feeling is mutual. So
And
keep up the good work.
Thank you. Just keep checking our website, flysnf.org, because we'll be adding more events, and there's actually more event opportunities, even to host your own company corporate events. We've air conditioned our hangar. There's all kinds of things that we've got going on to be a part of and expand our use and integration with the Lakeland area.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, one of my favorite parts of each and every show, of course, is the Athlete Spotlight.
Yes, sir.
Marjorie, I got to look. I don't think I can pronounce this right. Rodolosi. I believe that's the way you pronounce it. Well, what else I didn't know, other than pronouncing her last name, as an athlete, they have an equestrian team at Florida Southern.
Florida Southern, yeah.
Wow. Right here in Polk County. That's awesome.
It's cool stuff.
Great stuff. It's like Florida Southern Day here. Sounds like that Sonic commercial. Anyway, check out Marjorie and our Athlete Spotlight coming up next. Mark and Neal will be back right after this.
I was always interested in horses as a kid. There's just something really, really captivating about them. They were bigger than me. They just represented something that like was not tangible to me as a child. Like, couldn't really put my finger on it. I started riding when I was 5 years old, and I rode for a handful of years up until about 13. Got a little too expensive and had to take a break. And then my senior year of high school, it was like kind of my graduation present, got to start riding again. And when I went to college, I didn't want to stop. So it's kind of been a continuous thing since then. One of the things when I first came to Florida Southern is I wanted to be able to continue riding. They didn't have an equestrian team, but they said, I mean, if you find people that are interested, you can start one. I met Sophie and Paige my freshman year. We all were in the same hall together, ironically enough, and all loved horses. So we all decided to collaborate and try and get the team started. We looked up some local barns and we came to English Oaks first. Fell in love with the atmosphere, fell in love with like Shannon's perspective on training and how she cared for her horses, and asked her if she was interested in hosting a team. And she was, and things kind of lifted off from there. I competed a little bit at home before coming to college, and I did some local shows through my barn at home. And one of my first shows that I ended up placing really well in, that qualified me for like a higher up show, was actually with a horse that sent me to the hospital like 6 weeks prior. And I was really nervous, but you know, I didn't give up with this horse. He was a bit of a brat, but like I saw a lot of potential in him. Despite our accident that we had, I felt like we clicked pretty well. And it was a really nerve-wracking moment walking into the show ring with him, but something clicked between us. There was just a lot of symmetry and everything flowed so nicely, and never placed so well in my life. It was a really beautiful moment. It was like, oh, this is why I love doing what I do, to like get this partnership and get that teamwork and the outcome that comes from it. With horseback riding, like, you know, some people pick it up faster than others. I know with me personally, like, physical fitness has a big impact on how I ride, especially with like cardiovascular exercise, because it is quite the workout. You're using multiple muscle groups, and like, you know, it gets pretty exhausting. So I find that like with me, like, training definitely helps. A lot of running, like leg workouts, core workouts, everything that'll help me work with an animal like of this size. Helps a lot. And like as a team, we do like lake runs, and we're going to be starting to do workouts with the athletic coaches soon to help keep us in top shape for competing. There are so many aspects to being a good rider, in my opinion. One of the biggest things is horsemanship, and just being able to work with your horse, read your horse, understand your horse. You know, you want to be able to not work against them and kind of form a partnership with them. And that's always one of the harder parts, in my opinion. And then on top of that, there's also a lot of technical things. So aside from like your relationship with the animal, you have your positioning, like your posture, your strength, and moving the horse over, and there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. It takes some time. Even when Paige and I first met Junior here, we did not click right away. He is pretty green. He's better now, but when we first got him, he did not want to work. He wanted no part in work. So every time we got on him, it was an argument. He didn't want to do anything, right, Junior? Little lazy boy. But over time, like, our relationship built as he realized that we care about him, and like, you know, always working with him and being respectful of his feelings, and sometimes he's respectful of ours. A partnership really starts to form. And while I wouldn't say like off the bat, like, yeah, we were a great fit, but I wouldn't trade him for the world. So I'm a bio major, and I plan on sticking in the biomedical research field. I'm about to graduate in a semester, which is really sad. But I'm going to be doing a research contract somewhere up and down the East Coast, and I just pray that wherever I end up, I'll be able to continue riding, because I know it's going to be an aspect in my life no matter what. And hopefully I won't have to put it down for too long, but I plan on keeping it in my life as long as I can.
Welcome back to Sports Central, everybody. Mark Jackson, Neal Duncan.
Yes, sir.
And Marjorie. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, some cool stuff there. And of course, Florida Southern, we talked about 30 national championships. Maybe look at one in equestrian.
Well, you never know. What a, you know, interesting sport. It really is. But it you know, the variety of sports here
Yeah.
is rivaled by nobody. No
Yeah.
one.
It's
No other county.
As I said before, it's a great place to live, whether it be for recreation, quality of life, the lakes, the sports that are available, the professional teams we have here in Polk County.
Well, professional athletes that have come out of here.
Sure.
That's what that's part of what I was referring to. I said, I think that there's been more professional athletes per capita coming out of Polk County than anywhere else in the state.
That's right. Before I get too far, or we get too far down the road, Hampton Inn Winter Haven, this segment sponsor.
Oh, absolutely. Great place too, and with the new field house coming in, that's going to be nice. Of course, if you don't know about that, it's an 87,000 square foot field house and conference center right there at the Chain of Lakes Park next to the Theater Winter Haven and Rowdy Gaines Pool. It is going to be massive. Well, construction will begin here in the next month or so, and it is scheduled to open in November 1st, that is, of 2019. So big doings there, and we are excited about it for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely. We're also excited about the, not the end of the season, but the Lakeland Flying Tigers are still in the hunt for a playoff spot. I think as of yesterday, they were 4 games out in the North Division of the Florida State League. So they're home this weekend. I was looking at, they had like 15 games left, and almost all of them, I don't know how Ron got this done, or Zach, but almost all of them are there at Publix Field at Joker Martin Stadium. So go to LakelandFlyingTigers.com for a full list of those games. But the funny thing about the Flying Tigers is it's a special event, and oh, by the way, there's a baseball game going on.
Yeah, and if you get tickets to the 34 Club, you know, that's even better. But Friday, tonight, I should say, they play the Fire Frogs.
Yeah, Florida Fire Frogs.
Yeah, they're from Kissimmee.
Yep.
Joe Harrington was the GM over there for a long time, and wish him well. But tomorrow they play the Fire Frogs again at 6 p.m., and then it's Taco Bout Hunger Charity Game.
They're very creative over there.
Yeah,
They're very creative over there.
Well, then Sunday, another game against the Fire Frogs at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, followed by another one, it's a doubleheader actually, against the St. Lucie Mets. So, and then of course they still have, they don't call
Sunday.
it this anymore, but I call it this, Thirsty Thursday.
Well, I was going to start Sunday first because they have brunch. I know you like your brunch.
Oh, I've done that. That's awesome.
The Thirsty Thursday is still your favorite.
Oh, it's the bomb.
I'm going to move right on. Well, coming up, of course, we have 3 college football teams right here in Polk County, Warner University, Weber International University, and Southeastern University. They all open up on August 25th. Warner and Weber are on the road, but Southeastern is at home at 7 p.m., I believe it is, there on the Lakeland campus, a home game for Southeastern. But before that, Weber, they have a football golf classic the 18th at the Lake Wales Country Club. That's always a good time.
Oh, yeah, Weber does it upright too. Great school. Really done well with their football program. I shouldn't be surprised with, the talent that we have in and around here.
Right.
But there you go. Saturday, August 18th, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
I imagine there's still a few slots open.
They'll find a place for you if you want to get out there.
One of the big ones coming up is Tough Mudder Half, and that is October 13th, and it's at Clear Springs Ranch. Which is right outside of Bartow. Great sports venue there. And Tough Mudder, if you don't know what that is you just like run through a bunch of mud and obstacles. And I think the Tough Mudder we had last year was somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 to 14,000 people. Bartow's overrun.
Big event, definitely. Well, we talked about already the Get Rowdy Swim Tournament, September 20th to 22nd, but we got some sponsors we want to thank: Hall Communications, Harborside, Legoland Florida Resort, The Ledger Media Group, and Party Rentals Unlimited out of Winter Haven.
Well, Neal, our next show, August 31st, same time, same bat channel. You probably don't remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, do you?
I'm not like the younger members of our staff. I know what you're talking about.
A lot of millennials.
Yes.
Yeah.
Overrun.
Yeah. Well, everybody, this is Mark Jackson for Neal Duncan and the entire production crew here at PGTV. Thanks so much for joining us. But, I do have one more thing. One more thing. Before signing off, that is the water sports complex at Lake Myrtle will be open in February. So the grand opening is going to be in February with the cable park and the pro shop and the cafe and all of that type of stuff. So that was an important announcement that we certainly wanted to make.
Yeah, and of course you can see it right there off the parkway as you're going towards I-4, but looking forward to that. It's going to be a great asset to Polk County.
Absolutely. Well, thanks everybody for joining us again. Mark Jackson for Neal Duncan. We'll see you again next time.